We have a variety of arm curls in the standing position. And for each one, we're going to manipulate the grip or the handle, and we're also going to manipulate, for some of them, the adjustable arm. So pay close attention because there's going to be very specific things for specific types of curls. Now, the first, more standard curl is typically performed with the palm facing forward the whole time. So there's Josh. The big thing that I would like for you to realize is consistent among all of these curls is that the upper arm is not moving. This is the hardest thing to do because people like to try to move a lot of weight rather than work the muscles that they're really interested in. So you'll see people bending their whole torso. Show them that, Josh, where people do the whole body thing. Folks, that does not enable your arm muscles to work any harder. That uses everything else. And then you'll see people as they come up, they move their whole arm up. And that's shoulder muscles. That's not helping. That's taking away from it. So let me just say now and have it cover all of these versions of curls we're going to cover is this upper arm, where it starts is where it stays. So the only motion is the forearm moving at the elbow in this nice little circle or arc. So you see he's not really curling up. Watch how he's curling forward and up and in. Think about that, and this upper arm will stay still. So now, here's the first one. Palm is up the whole time. He's got two settings that work well for this. Number 8, definitely not number 9. Number 9 is too narrow. You have this thing called a carrying angle. And when you turn your palm to the front, which is the whole thing we're trying to do here, your arm has a bend in it. It's the way we're built. So you cannot go with a really narrow setting here. Please don't do that. So start with number 8, even potentially number 7. See? Will allow for that carrying angle perfectly. So there's a great curl where we're maintaining the palm up or supinated position, arm number 8 or arm adjustment number 7 on each side. Now, let's go back and take a look at this thing you've heard before called a reverse curl, where you're simply turning over and it's going to be palm down. Because of what happens in the body when your palm is down, see, you don't have that bend anymore that you do when you're here. You don't have that bend. So you could go to this narrow setting of number 9 and do a reverse curl, no problem. Now, if you're a wider person, you may choose to bump that out one notch to number 8, and that'll work great for a reverse curl too. I'd like for you to realize there are very slight differences in muscular contribution from the arm muscles, the biceps, the brachialis, and the brachioradialis, with each one of these curls. It's most dramatic probably, I mean, you're not getting rid of your bicep, but this thing you'll probably notice most when you flip your arm all the way over is that you start noticing more of the brachioradialis. You haven't eliminated this, but you're just noticing this more, so there's a slight change in what's working. So rest for a second there, Josh. The next one I want to show you is the hammer curl. So what we're going to do is allow this grip to slip to this more vertical thing, and you might even have the grip itself might even slide on the webbing as you're doing it. I don't know. Just see how it works. But Josh has actually grabbed all the way around. But the idea is now that we're keeping the thumb up, so it's not palm down, it's not palm up. It's palms facing each other. And again on this we've got two possible settings. You could be at number 9, the closest one, because when your palm is in this position, your arm doesn't have the carrying angle. That only exists in the first one we looked at. So you could be here, or, again, a little bit wider person, depending on your skeletal structure, you could go out to number 8. Works just fine. So there's 3 versions of the curl so far. The final one is this. I'm going to have him have the same position. You can go ahead and grab these just like you were. So let me show him. We're going to turn this handle so it's in line with the webbing. It's not across it like this. And he's going to grab it so that all that webbing that's pulling on him and the rope is coming off of his pinky side of his hand. And now this gets kind of neat because he can rotate or supinate as he curls and actually have resistance against the supination part. You see, normally we only have the resistance, like if you have a dumbbell and you do supination, there's a resistance on each side of your hand, each side of the dumbbell, so the turning part is not resisted, which is fine. And you could do that here by going back to your normal grip position, right? And then as he turns, this thing could kind of turn in his hand. He could just kind of do that kind of thing. See where it's still pulling off of both sides of his hand. And that's great too. That is a great option. I'm not saying it's not valuable, but just a little tricky thing you can do with these cool revolution handles is create resistance another way, and that's a lot harder, isn't it?
A little bit.
Now, because we're ending up in the supinated position at the top, I'm going to recommend that you again go with position number 8 or even position number 7 for this rotating or supinating curl.